This is the Original Sin, the Collective Intelligence Network.
Hello sinners, my Collective Intelligence Network agents. Welcome to another episode here on the Collective Intelligence Network. And today I'd like to talk about something which is near and dear to many of your hearts, I'm sure. Frustration. Frustration is something that often happens to all of us in life. And I can really relate to that, and I'm sure you can as well. I would like to hear your thoughts on frustration. Yet more than that, what can we actually do about it? What can we do to resolve frustration in our lives? So I have a recent frustration, which was I've been doing a Masters of Creative Intelligence and Strategic Innovation since 2022. And I went to look at when my start date will be for my next semester, Creative Methods and Practices. And alarmingly, I saw that my Masters of Creative Intelligence and Strategic Innovation will not be being offered in 2025. And of course, I came across this after 5 p.m., which meant that when I rang UTS Ask, the help desk platform, their office, of course, had closed at 5 p.m. And so now I'm here in the weekend and I'm totally frustrated because I don't know what that means. I haven't finished the Masters. I was totally, and still am, totally enjoying it and getting a lot from it and a lot of understanding and insights, and it's helping to make me a better person with respect to working through issues and problems and applying transdisciplinary thinking and all these metaphors and all these things that I've come across since I've been doing this study. And now to hear that potentially it's not going to be offered next year is incredibly frustrating, especially since I've signed up for another semester of study, yet I don't know where that's going to take me to come 2025. I guess I'll just have to roll it into some other sort of course. So I guess this is the core message here, is that when you have a frustration that something didn't quite work out the way you thought it would or the way you hope it would, is that you try and get ahead of that and think of a positive for it, in that you can do something that aligns with the pain point that you had, the frustration that you had, that potentially could maybe work out better for you in the long run. And I guess sliding doors, how are we to know, really? If something's been taken off the table and then you're doing something different, then you don't really know what could have happened if you went down that other path. And along those lines, it has got me thinking, it's a little bit odd, I suppose, with respect to, you know how when, say, a songwriter, for example, will say, look, I don't know where the words came from, they just popped into my head. And I also believe that Michelangelo, when he was carving the statue David, he was asked, how did you do it? How did you know? And he said, well, all I did was I just released David from the marble. So he couldn't actually really say exactly how he did it. And it's made me wonder whether, in fact, there might be something where these random thoughts or this knowledge or ability to be able to do something is put into our mind and then comes out in ways that we don't know, obviously, because it just pops into your head. It's like a thought just pops in your head. Where did it come from? Obviously it's come from our brain somewhere, but is there some energy, universal energy, that's using you as a bit like an avatar and making you do things in your life, taking you along on a journey that's leading you somewhere, which I guess is part of the reason why we have these frustrations, so that we can work through them and come out the other side, obviously changed in some way, shape or form. And I guess it's how we deal with those frustrations, because they're things that potentially have blocked our path in terms of we're going somewhere, we had a goal in mind, we had a purpose, and now these gates just blocked it off. and you well, literally can't see where you're going now, and that can be frustrating. And so potentially you could turn to other things to try and take your mind off this. One way, I guess, is to go and sort of get it out of your system, get that frustration out of your system. And so I'd just like to ask, what is it that's causing you frustration at this point in time? Put it in the comments section, put it in the spittoon. Let's have a look at these things, see if there's some sort of common thread once we get enough comments, I guess, or even any comments would be great. Because I'd like to sort of delve a bit more into this whole realm and see if there's a way to be able to sort of come up with strategies to work through frustration, and what potential tools there are, coping tools there are to sort of deal with frustration, because frustration then leads to potentially can lead to a whole lot of other emotions and emotional responses and triggers and reactions and thoughts in your own mind that potentially could make you think thoughts that are either good or bad. Who knows? It's a real mixed bag, isn't it? So yeah, that's my thoughts for today, is frustration, because I'm feeling frustrated with what's happening with my course. I felt frustrated in the past before when I had a really great idea for something which I called shock jocks. And the idea around that was that you have a pair of you have some underwear, and then in the underwear you put like a little pocket, and in that pocket you could put condom, spare key, change, whatever you wanted in there. And I had someone who worked in the rag trade, and they put me in touch with someone who was a supplier for a very big international brand name, who I will not name. And once I told them my idea, which I also wanted 10% of the proceeds of profits to go towards testicular cancer research. So there was a real genuine thing I wanted to actually do with this, and I thought it was a solid idea, which clearly it was, because a few months, the guy ghosted me, went dark. I never heard a word from him, though several months later on television, some of you might be old enough to remember this ad, there was an ad that came on television wherein a groom was asking the best man where the ring was, the wedding ring, and the best man couldn't find it anywhere, ends up stripping down to his underwear and pulls out this ring from this pocket in his underwear, and the groom jumps on top of the best man, gives him a hug, and then the bride-to-be opens the door and sees her husband-to-be hugging this guy who's just standing there in his undies. So that was very frustrating to know that the organization that had come up with this same idea also happened to be the same organization that I spoke to someone who was networked with. And so that was, yeah, as you can appreciate, that's frustrating. And a little bit more compounded as well when, I think it was a year or so later, some genius decided that, and I think I saw him on the front of BRW 500, and they'd made millions of dollars, millions. And what they come up with was a pair of socks, and then put a pocket in the sock. Went gangbusters. So frustrated, yes. And it's just, that's life, isn't it? You come up with these things, and unless you've got the financial means and the networks and those sorts of things at your disposal, then it's very difficult, I guess, to be able to capitalize a lot of times on these great insights and those sorts of things, which is another reason why I'd like to see this platform, the Collective Intelligence Network, be something that we can commercialize ideas through. And I guess potentially could use something like a blockchain technology. And blockchain technology is a way wherein things are connected digitally, so that every link in the chain, the block, is unable to be manipulated, and then in this fashion, you can actually have the idea generator, who could be the first chain in that block, and then those that actually add to it could be another links in that chain. And potentially this could be a way, I think, that you could protect ideas so that you could actually then go to market and commercialize them. And given that all of us are smarter than one of us, well, then all of us are richer than one of us too. So if there's enough of a collective, then almost like a cooperative, then ideas could be generated and commercialized through this platform, wherein the beneficiaries of that commercialization would be the actual members and participants in the actual cooperative or the collective intelligence network. So that's a bit of a longer term sort of view with where I'd like to see this all go. But yeah, I'd really like to have people such as yourself watching now involved, and to hit me up with some of your ideas, some of your thoughts. Get online, become a sinner, Collective Intelligence Network agent, join the church, which is Cyborg Humans Using Reasoning Collectively Harnessed. And together, I'm sure we can achieve great things. And I welcome you into this community. And on that note, that's all. Bye for now. See you in the next one.